So what we always run into when we're mentoring is that the people coming into the mentorship program have not worked in a real world environment. Okay? So the way we run our mentorship program is we try and make sure that we have a set of work ethics that everybody can follow. Then everybody knows what the work ethics are, so there's no questions. Myself, how I learned work ethic was basically by making a lot of mistakes. And someone would then say, hey, that's not how you do it again. And that takes years to learn it that way, because it's several mistakes that you have to make before you get to the point where you know exactly what you're doing. Before we actually start into the presentation on work ethics, I just wanted to show you my work so you could get an idea. Some of you might not know what motion graphics is. Just so you know, it's 2D animation, 3D animation, working with live video, doing set design, writing, doing practical effects like smoke and rain and all sorts of stuff, and visual effects in film. It's all of these techniques in one type. If you ever look up motion graphics as a definition, there's really a kind of weird definition. It's all the things that go into video production wrapped up into one. Okay? Yeah.
Coming in later than usual, so. Well, that's really good. Yeah, that's where the poster is. That very first one.
Okay. Yeah, it was tricky. This guy's ready over here. He's ready over there. So, I mean, everybody's here dealing with pictures yeah, I would try and fill in the presentation.
Okay, so one's a page like C and B.
Okay, so that's what's called a demo tape. And that's several projects, just pieces and parts of several projects that I've put together so you can get a sampling of the type of work that I do.
Okay.
So this is the studio that I work at. These are some of the people that are in on that day. We have freelancers. So on any given day, the shop is filled with about 10 artists, and sometimes the shop is filled with just me. It depends on what project we're actually working on. All of the freelancers are basically also students, meaning that when we're not in a project, I'm actually working with them and teaching them, and they're working on their own projects. So this is one of the studios, one of the edit bays, and this is one of the guys working.
There's two groups at the same time.
So let's get right into the presentation. This is work ethics, and there's a lot of different ways we could have gone with how to present this. I actually wanted to go into the whole, I'm a big fan of superhero, sci-fi, monster movies, all of that stuff. So I wanted to break it down into, okay, I have my own superhero team. The key to having a strong team is how strong is your team, all right? So I am only as strong as my weakest members. okay? Because I need to make sure that everybody is on the same page and everybody is working to their full potential so that we have a strong team. Hola.
Hi.
Hey.
Are you our instructor?
So anyways, when we're working on a motion graphics project, we have several people we're working with. We have a sales executive that's actually looking for work and looking for people to actually bring work in. We actually then have a writer, a producer that's kind of wrangling the whole project. They're putting everything together. We have a creative director who's kind of in charge of the entire look and feel of the project. That's what they're in charge of. We have an art director who's in charge of the artist, a designer, and there's usually multiple designers that are actually building the pieces and parts of the
All right,
project.
you guys.
We have storyboard artists who put the ideas together, animators, 3D artists, motion graphics artists, so that's where I kind of fall in with the work that I've shown you. We have editors that put all of the pieces and parts together, and then we have finally a sound designer. So when we're all done, they go and they add the music, the sound effects, and the voice. This is key to making this whole thing work, and it's the team and how the team works together. Our goals is we need to solve an objective. Our objective is our client's needs. So if the client comes in and says, I need to do A, B, C, or D, our job is to figure out how to do that in the best possible way, graphically, creatively, to basically give this message and send this message. We always have a deadline. Always. We live and die by if we meet that deadline. If we don't meet that deadline, that client never comes back. So it's imperative for us to make sure we meet that deadline. Quality work. We have to deliver our best, not just good work. We have to deliver our best work. There are so many other people doing this type of work that there are choices. The client just doesn't come to us. They might come to 2 or 3 different production houses and actually go, okay, let's look at their work and we'll judge from there. So our work has to be great. It has to be top quality. We respect each other. Every single person on our team needs to come in and know that everybody is important. Even if your skill set is green, basically meaning you know nothing yet. You're a candidate, you're a student, you're just coming in. The person who has 12 years has to treat you with the same respect as they would treat someone else who has 12 years of experience. No one gets disrespected in our studio. We help each other where we can and when we can. Because of the fact that we're working in so many different software platforms, a lot of the times, not everybody knows everything. So I might turn around and ask one of my guys, hey, you need to go help Joe over here because he doesn't know how to do this. And they need to be able to get up and actually help them. Because for Joe to actually research and try and teach himself might take the whole day, and then we're wasting time, we're wasting budget. We need to make collaboration go smoothly. No one is in charge of the project. We start from the very beginning of the project that everybody has a say. Usually when we work on a project, we have about 5 people starting the project, and they actually all talk and come up with ideas, and then they pitch those ideas to me. And I pick pieces out of the ideas and put it together and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We understand that we need each other to reach our goals. Not one person in my group can do the project by themselves. Okay? The deadlines are too tight, the budgets are too tight, and the skill set to do the type of work that I just showed you takes years. The demo tape that I showed you, I want you to realize that is after 20 years of doing this. That is not, I got into this field and I knew how to do that type of work. That's after 20 years. great power comes great responsibility. Right? What does that mean? That means you have to be responsible for your actions. We are personally responsible for the end results of our project. That means that everybody takes ownership of the project. Everybody knows that if the project fails, they have failed. Even if it's failing from another person in the project, we all are responsible. So we make sure that every single one of us stays on task. We show up on time, ready to work. The way our studio is set up is that we have a morning meeting, like a debriefing, to basically say, hey, this is what we're going to do today. So if you're late to that meeting, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's going on. So you can't be late, because now you're wasting my time, you're wasting the group's time by asking all of these questions. So you show up and you're ready to work. We put our best efforts to ensure quality and meet deadlines. That means you come in knowing that you're not just going to spend a day just working. You're going to work to your end level, to the most you can produce. And it's not even just in producing, to the quality. So that there's never a time where you're going, okay, that's just good enough. There's never a good enough where we work. It has to be, this is great, we can't do any more. We complete these projects to the best of our abilities. We accept the blame for our mistakes and weaknesses and fix them. That means if one of my guys does not complete a task, they don't say, I didn't complete it because of this, and this. They know that at any time when the task was being done, they could have come to me and said, this isn't working. It shouldn't be that the task is due and then I find out that it's not working. They have to tell me that it's not working at the moment that they realize it. We have fun, but we also take what we do seriously. It's a fun profession. We're actually creating very cool things. There's always a movie on at the studio, or there's video games, there's comic books, there's all sorts of distractions, there's snacks, there's all sorts of distractions for my guys. Not one of them takes advantage of that. Not one of them goes and says, well, I'm going to play video games, because they know at that point, if they don't have the time to do it, they're jeopardizing the job for everybody else. So it's important that they know there is time for fun, but there's also time to be serious about what you're doing. Truth, justice, and the creative way. The ongoing battle for integrity. Integrity. Be trustworthy with clients, coworkers, and supervisors. That basically means that I know when I walk out of the studio that everybody is still either working, everybody has something to do, everyone is being proactive, everybody is behaving in a way that is the same as if I was there. So I have people who range in age from 17 to 37. Okay? So it's very hard to tell a 17-year-old, hey, I'm leaving, behave, and not have something like, well, there's 1,000 video games in here, there's comic books, there's Doritos upstairs, there's soda, there's all these distractions. They know that when they are tasked with something, they're judged by that task. So that they have to finish that task before they can go on to do anything that's fine. Okay?
Well, come on, take me to the other I'll bring up the...
Give honest and constructive feedback on projects. Create solutions to
the Media
problems.
Education Foundation.
When we show our work, we show it in phases. We have storyboard phases and scripting phases and animatics and pacing boards. And at every time we get in a group like this and we actually talk about that phase of the project, everybody is allowed to give constructive criticism. Okay? But they have to say, it would be better because if you added this, that might work. No one tears down a project. It's not allowed. It always has to have a solution. So if there's a problem that's happening in any one of our projects, they have to present the problem and they have to present the solutions. Now that might not be the right solution, but it is their solution, and then we can talk through it. Ask Ask if it's okay before you offer advice or opinions. Do not force your views onto others. What this means is artists have a huge ego, and it can easily be broken by giving your opinion before it's time to give the opinion. When we're in the middle of a project, it looks messy. It does not look like anything. It almost looks like you're never going to complete this. The worst thing in the world is for one of my artists to walk over to another artist and go, "What's that? It doesn't look good." That just totally stops down whoever's working on it. So we refrain from that, and it's like, "Hey, what are you working on? Oh, are you open to suggestions right now, or are you still in the working phase?" If they say working phase, we walk away. It's like, when you get there, I'd love to see where you're at. Even as the creative director on a lot of these projects, I don't meddle with my artists when they're in the middle of a project. I go in and I say, "Where are you at?" And then I ask, "Do you need any help?" When they're in a situation where they've gone too far, then I go, "Okay, talk me through what you're doing so I can understand what I'm looking at." But I do not offer any advice at that point. I just need to know where they're at. Be a good person all the time. This should just be life. Just across the board, it's really, really simple. Just be a good person. Don't talk behind anybody's back. You see someone in trouble, just help them. You see something happening where you can be of use, that they don't know that you can be useful here, well, let them know you can be useful here. It's as simple as that. No drama. There's no need for it. Seriously, especially in a professional environment. It doesn't benefit anybody. Do not steal from the company or create drama. A lot of the times I try to explain this to the guys who come in. They're like, "Well, I would never take anything from you, Dean. I would never take a piece of software or this." It's like, I'm telling you, do not steal. And that's as tantamount to, if you are not working and I'm paying you, you're stealing from me. Because you're just taking money out of my hand because you're not producing for me. So by producing, you're not stealing. Don't take from other artists. Know your copyright laws and things like that. Be a professional, not an amateur. Okay? What that means, and the best way to be a professional, is to actually get yourself someone who's in the business, or ask questions like, "How should I act in this situation? What would you do in this situation?" Ask someone who's older than you. A lot of the times, my guys run into trouble because they're asking people who are the same age as them. So let's imagine I'm 18, and I ask another 18-year-old, "What would you do in this situation at work?" They have no clue. They could give you as much advice as they want, but they're your peer. They're not in a professional situation any more than you are. So all the advice they're giving you is basically the advice you could give yourself. What you need to do is step that up to someone who actually has 5, 10, 15 years working, and ask them, "What would you do in this situation?" You need to go to people, I don't want to say it's age, it's experience, okay? It's not that you need to go to someone who's 30, you need to go to someone who has 10 years in the field or 5 years in the field to ask these questions. If they are not around you, there are so many forums that are open to questions. There are so many forums for creative, for motion graphics, where you can go, "Hey, I'm new into business. How much do I charge for this? I'm new into business. What should I be studying?" Things like that. Prove that you deserve to be working on the project with your actions, not your words. My guys are not allowed to tell me how awesome they are. I don't care. They have to show me how awesome they are. They have to show me what they can actually do. A lot of the times with younger artists or younger workers, they don't know the barometer that I'm looking at. I'm looking and judging them by guys who have 20 years of experience. So when they say to me they're good, I immediately go, "You will be good, you're not good today. So prove to me that you're good." Get on a computer, grab a pencil, write something down so that I can actually judge that, not what you're telling me. Don't tell me that your teacher thinks you're good. Don't tell me that your mother thinks you're good. And don't tell me that I've got straight A's. Show me by producing something that is quality. Yes?
You mentioned grab a pencil. What is the balance between drawing in your field of work versus computer work? As a teacher, should I tell
Most of the time, in this field now, no one can draw. I'm talking about professionals. No one can draw anymore. I don't know what happened, how that happened, but they can't. So I have guys who work for me that are incredible illustrators, and I have guys who can draw stick figures. And I can tell you, we're going to look at an animation from one of the guys who draws stick figures that's probably better than all the guys who can draw. So it is not something that will hold you back that you can't draw. Okay? Now it will hold you back if you go someplace where you have to draw. That's totally different. Okay? So if you can't draw, no, you can't be a storyboard artist. If you can't draw, no, you're not going to design characters. Okay. Surround yourself with the best people you can. Get rid of the dead weight and losers. I say this to I have my son. I say this to all of my students. I remember when my dad said this to me and I didn't understand what he meant. If you want to be in this field, in the creative field, you need to surround yourself with like-minded people. You need to surround yourselves with creative people who want to work. If you surround yourself with people who just want to go out and have a good time and party, that will not do anything for you in this field. You are wasting your time. Every second you do this is a waste of your time. Okay? I cannot reiterate this more, how important this is, not just for young people, for adults. Get rid of dead weight. Job ain't done until it's perfect. Quality of our work. Go home if you're only going to do the bare minimum of work. What does that mean? That means that if you sit down to a task and just do that task and you're like, all right, I'm done, not in a creative environment. Because what happens is this goes through so many passes. This goes through an editor, a sound designer, a art director, a creative director, and finally to the client. And every single time, someone's going to step up your game. They're going to say, it needs to be better, it needs to be better, it needs to be better. So, by going in and just starting at that bare minimum, the more passes and more revisions that they have to do to your work, the more they're going to want to get rid of you. Because at that point, you're making them work when they don't have to. They hired you for a reason. They hired you to do the work, not to go and change everything you did. So, make sure you work until you know that this is as good as I can get it. Ask people before you show it to your creative director, your art director, or your producer, what do you think about this? Ask for criticism. We're not here to produce good work. We are here to produce great work. Okay? In this field, there are too many facilities for you to think that you can survive just doing good work. Meaning, I did something, so that makes it good work. That's not realistic. Realistic is, I did this to the best of my ability. And if it's not great work, I accept that it is not great work yet. I am working towards that. It takes years to produce great work. Or you'll be lucky enough to have an art director or a creative director that will make you do great work. A lot of the times, when I say to my students who come in and they say, well, I think it looks good, I normally say, you don't even know how to see yet. You don't even know what you're looking at. How could you say it's good? And I go through this constantly with my students where I say, I will tell you when you can see. I will tell you when it is great work, because I will be the first one to smile. I'll be the first one to clap. I'll be the first one to pat you on the back and go, yeah, that's good. That's great work. All right? If I haven't said it, it might not even be good. Okay? You have to have those peers to tell you that. A lot of times we think we're at a level that we just aren't. You need someone who's better than you to tell you, yeah, you have this potential, or you are doing good work. We live or die by the quality of our work. If our work isn't good, and I mean perfect as we can possibly get it, the client will not come back. Oops, sorry. The client will not come back. Client doesn't come back, we never work again. Then the client goes and tells somebody else that you did poor work or sloppy work. No other client will ever use you. And it is a trickle-down effect to where you'll never work again. Understand the hierarchy of a production house. The hierarchy is there to ensure quality. There are several people in a production house that have to sign off on your work. They're there for a reason. They are not your enemy. They're actually there to help you. So you should be thrilled that they are taking their time to make sure that your work is good. Job strategy of keeping the lights on is certain death. If you ever walk into a production studio and they're doing work and this term ever is said, well, we need to do this to keep the lights on, they're going to turn those lights off eventually. And that is because they are not understanding that quality is everything. Quality is everything. Good work is everything. If they're just doing the bare minimum to get the job done, they're not going to get new clients. It will eventually fail. Don't know what this night will bring, but it doesn't matter. I'm ready. Discipline. Be committed to finishing your tasks every day. Be committed that when you sit down, that you have a set of goals, that when you walk out of the door, you go, you know what? I did what I was supposed to do today. And tomorrow, I will repeat that process. Stay focused on the goals of the project. Some of the projects that we do could last 3 months or longer. It's hard to stay focused on one thing like that. And if you're working on a film, we're talking about years. We're talking about 3 years staying focused for 3 years on one thing. If you're going to be in this industry, you have to stay focused. You have to go and say, you know what, I'm committed every single day to this project. Be determined to complete the project before the deadline. We finish before the deadline, we are almost guaranteed for the client to come back. Train yourself to be ready for whatever situation comes your way. If I had to take all of these out, it would be this one that would stay, all right? School can only get you so far, all right? You have to go and make sure that you are taking the time to train yourself. There are so many outlets, free outlets online to learn about how to shoot with a camera, how to edit, how to do storyboards. All of that stuff is free and it is online. You can do that research. If then you are on training yourself, then you will be playing that video game for a very long time in someone else's probably basement. You need to make sure that you are committing time for yourself. Strengthen your skills. It's just as important as breathing. Everybody tells me what's important. Family's important. Happiness is important. Your skill set is more important than all of that stuff, because if your skills aren't where they need to be, your family will not be happy because you will be struggling with your job. If your skill set's not where it's supposed to be, you will be unhappy because you're not working where you need to be working. You will be miserable working somewhere else that you're not suited for. Okay? So strengthen your skills. I'm going to end it here. I'm going to show you one more video of my students' work. This is the most important thing I could say. Go create something. Don't wait for somebody to tell you to create something. Just do it. That means it could be as simple as writing a small story for yourself, drawing a picture, getting everybody has an iPhone or some kind of phone with a camera now. Do some kind of video. You don't even need the highest end equipment to do amazing creative work. Okay? So really, go create. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of background on this. These are from the students that I have. This is a team project. All of the 3D animation was built by the guy I said cannot draw. All of the 3D environments were built by the guy I said can't draw. The characters that you see were actually created by someone who can draw. So one of my students who can draw built the character design. Another student went ahead and storyboarded. So the people that could draw did the parts that they could do. And then the people who were very technical, they did the parts that they were good at. All right?
Yeah, so there's your transfer over there. Shannon, feel ready. Stop the transfer over there.
You look a little sweeter than me, said the coconut to the strawberry. You feel a little fuzzy for me, said the pineapple to the young kiwi. That's when the strawberry came, said the coconut had bananas for brains. The kiwi had enough of this fight, so he stood up and shouted with all his might. We may all be different. We may all be different. It's vitamin C, said the pineapple to the young kiwi. You and I can make the groove smoothly, said the coconut to the strawberry. Strawberry came back around, said I'm sorry that I put you down. Then the kiwi smiled and said, I'm glad that we can all be friends. We may all be different. We may all be different.
Ron, Sarah, if you can go ahead and so I'll turn this into group A so we get into the drumming session.
Sing it out around the world. Sing it out around the world. Sing it out around the world.
How long did it take to make that video? We're gonna. Okay. This video took a month to do the actual execution and animation. The concepting of the video took another month, so 2 months total. It's a team of 1, 2, 3, 5 people. I myself personally could not make this. With 25 years of experience, I could not produce this in the time it took to do this. This needed a team, and that's why team is so important. I'm also going to put subtitles on this, and I will send it to your instructor so that you can actually see what the words are for this. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Is there a Q&A? Does anybody have any questions by any chance? Okay, thank you guys.